This episode is brought to you by SD Sober Living. If you or someone you know needs a safe, supportive recovery home, then reach out to SD Sober Living at www.sdsoberliving.org or call 619-334-9869. That's 619-334-9869. Come get some fuck fentanyl and some San Diego recovery at SD Sober Living. Hey everyone, I want to take a moment to talk about something really important, mental health and addiction. If you or someone you know is struggling with mental health or drug addiction, especially if they're facing chronic relapses or have a history of bouncing in and out of treatment centers, I want to recommend Baja Rehab. Baja is a premier lockdown treatment center located just 45 minutes from the San Diego border in beautiful Mexico. I've had the opportunity to visit their facility, and I can tell you firsthand, it's not only stunning, but also equipped with everything needed for recovery. They offer comprehensive medical detox and have a dedicated team of drug counselors and specialized therapists. If you are ready to take the first step towards healing, call Shalom, the intake director, at 619-855-6368. That's 619-855-6368. Your loved ones deserve a second chance, so don't wait until it's too late. Reach out to Baja Rehab today.
You know I'm back, like I never left. Another sprint, another step, another day, another breath. Been chasing dreams, but I never slept. I got a new attitude and a lease on life is a piece of mind. Seeking to find I can sleep when I die. Want a piece of the pie, got the keys to the ride and shit. I'm straight. I'm on my way. Get up my way. I'm running late. What can I say? I heard you died twice. Once when they bury you in the grave, and the second time is the last time.
All right, Glorious, featuring Skylar Gray and Macklemore. Hell yeah. My name is Lisa Romero. I'm the Fuck Fentanyl guy, and this is the Fuck Fentanyl podcast. I have my friend Keela here.
Hi. Hey.
Good.
What's up?
It's good to have you.
Thanks. Good being here. Yeah.
It's funny when I was telling Nick last week, I was like, oh, dude, because we saw you on the screen right there. And I was like, oh, I actually just asked Keela to be on this thing. And I was telling him, like, she's actually one of the first people to buy a Fuck Fentanyl hoodie.
Yeah.
I remember we met right down the street.
Yeah. I remember that. I'm like, oh my God. And it was before everybody started doing like the California parking, where they just throw on their fucking blinkers and
right.
Like they just park anywhere. But I was absolutely parked in the red. I'm like, dude, this is terrible parking outside. Yeah, I remember that.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So where'd you grow up, Keela?
Yeah, so I guess like a little bit about me.
Yeah.
I was born in Palmdale.
Oh yeah.
And I had like my childhood out there. My dad still lives there. A lot of my dad's side of the family still lives in Palmdale. But I came out here for high school.
Okay.
And so like everybody who lives in Palmdale has always kind of like, I mean, it's pretty well known that it's like all you can do there is like go to the mall or do drugs.
For sure. Yeah. No, yeah. But, I've heard.
Yeah. So like, but for me, I left there before that ever became like a thing. So my disease didn't start up until I actually came out to San Diego.
Oh, okay. How old were you when you moved down here?
So I came out here for high school. So I was around 14.
Oh, okay.
And I pretty quickly like kind of just got into like, I mean, I was like smoking cigarettes before I came here.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But like, it wasn't really like anything like serious. And
sure.
But when I got here, it's like, that's when everything was just kind of like, I don't know, like fast tracked, you know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
So my mom lives like still in the same place. She has a house in Normal Heights.
Okay.
But it's super far from the high school that I actually went to. I went to Westview High, out in like Rancho Penasquitos area. Mm-hmm. And so I was like very quickly introduced to like chronic, you know. And,
yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, and so like when I would get like weed at my high school, it was like, you know, like chronic. And then I would come back out to like Normal Heights and like I would have like friends that I was making friends like in the neighborhood that I was in,
Yeah.
and they would have like regular weed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude, but I didn't know the difference.
Oh, you
and
didn't?
No, I had no idea. I was so naive, you know? And so I would fucking bring it back to school and be like, dude, look at all of this weed that I got for $10.
Yeah, the whole sandwich bag full.
I'm like, bro.
Stems and steeds.
I'm like, I feel like I'm getting fucking scammed out here. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You know?
I love it.
But yeah, so I mean, it was like, that's kind of, how everything kind of just started for me.
I see.
Like I really got into weed and then drinking. And then shortly after I really got into like pills and ecstasy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And this is all like within a year or two?
By like sophomore year, I was like really, really into like really doing a lot of like ecstasy, a lot of like acid. Just like pretty much like honestly, it didn't really have like a limit for me. Like, I mean, if you like put it in front of me, I was like absolutely down to do it.
For sure,
And
for sure.
so I mean, it was just like, I don't know. It was really fun in the beginning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was really fun. Like, I had like my little group of friends at school and like we would skip school and we would like go like hang out in like the canyons and like fucking roll and fucking just be like so fucking yeah, dude. It was fucking wild. And like that would be like what I would do instead of going to school. And then by the time I got home, I'd be like fucking coming down so hard.
Yeah.
You know, and I realized that like in my mind, like my mind never told me, wow, this is a terrible feeling. I'm not
Sure.
going to do this again.
Right.
You know what I mean? My mind says, I'm like, this is a terrible feeling. Like I need to get back to where I was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like how can I do that? You know? And so I just was like on ecstasy, like constantly. And then eventually, so wild. Like I got into this fight with this girl at school. Like it's not like Palmdale, okay? Because I used to get into a lot of fights in like middle school in Palmdale, and it would just be like, like we'd scrap and it'd be like,
okay,
we'd just go our separate ways.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like that's not the same way that they handled it out in the suburbs
Oh,
in
really?
San Diego.
No.
Well, yeah, like Rancho Penasquitos is like suburban, like
Oh,
very
yeah.
like, you know what I mean?
The main
like,
streets of
yeah,
Mosquitoes.
yeah. So like they're all like very like, like proper and so you can't just go beating people up over there.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And so
That'll get attention.
Yeah. And so I beat this girl up after school and so the school found out because she fucking sued me and called the cops.
No.
Yes, dude. And
That's something someone from there would do.
I was like, I know, dude. I was so shocked. I'm like, she called the cops?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's crazy.
Pressing charges.
I know. It was wild. It was like a pretty big ordeal at the time. And
Yeah.
so that was my first time like going to juvie. And
shit.
yeah, like so it was a big deal and they kicked me out of school, so I went to like New Directions. But
Oh.
I'm like, dude, as a fucking drug addict, I'm like that I appreciated it.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, thank you, because school was getting in the way
Oh, for
of
sure.
me getting high.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah,
like
right,
and now you want to
right.
send me to homeschool?
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Like that was fucking
Yeah. A gift.
Yes. So, so then when I went to like New Directions, it was homeschooling. That was just like it snowballed like my disease so quickly. Because no longer was I like hanging out with like kids that like were like doing like cocaine and like ecstasy. Like I was in my neighborhood, and my neighborhood wasn't like, it wasn't terrible, but it's not the way it is now.
Right.
You know, like there was like a lot of gang activity. There
see.
was a lot of like, just a lot of drugs, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so like I would walk around like as like a very naive, like I'm the only addict in my family. So I didn't have any exposure to other addicts growing up. Like I didn't realize like this was like a thing, you know?
Got it.
And like meth, like I really didn't even know what meth was. Like, and so when I first was introduced to it, I was walking around my neighborhood and I was like trying to bum cigarettes off of people. And somebody was like, oh, well, if you do like other things, like if you do like crystal or like speed, like I got some speed. And I was like, I've never really tried it. Like,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And so that's how I got introduced to that. You know what I
Really?
mean? Like, yeah. And when I first, like, my first time getting high was like absolutely wild. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, dude, this is so much better than fucking cocaine. Dude.
Oh, for sure.
I was like, bro, this lasts forever.
Forever.
Especially back then. Like, that was like prior, like pre, like, I graduated high school in 2009, so like that was like maybe like 2007, like before they had like all these like mad restrictions on like cough syrups and stuff.
Oh,
so
the Sudafed.
yeah, and so it was real fucking. It was, I mean, it was fucking like heavy.
Yeah.
You know, like you'd fucking hit it once and it'd be fucking in your hand for the next 30 minutes before you pass. You know what I mean? And so like I was just and that's when I was still like able to get high by smoking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, but that's when like, as a naive, like drug addict, like in like not such a great part of town, like, I mean, it didn't go well for me. You know what I mean? It didn't go well for me. It didn't go well for my family. Like we got robbed multiple times.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Like, and, I mean, it was literally like the epitome of like people were robbing us and then helping us look for our things.
Oh,
Yes,
God. Yeah.
yes.
I'll help you look for it. Don't worry.
I know, yeah. They're like, dude, just take me over to this one house because I think they know. And I was like, dude, and I was so thankful for them.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much. And like, I have the best friends in the world.
Yeah. You guys are real great.
I know. I'm like, dude, you guys are like taking so much time out of your day.
give you a hit up your own shit.
I know.
Well, I got this little one for you. Here you go.
Yeah. You know, and it was a really, but it, like in all seriousness, it was a really bad time for my mom. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't just like, you know, like I didn't have shit. My mom had shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like her shit was being stolen, and like I remember. My grandmother's wedding ring. So, yeah, it was stolen, and it had, my grandpa is like very native Hawaiian, like so fucking native Hawaiian. Like I mean, and so he had these like, diamonds, like that were like ancestral, like that had been passed down for generations, made into this ring for my grandmother. And when my grandmother died, she passed it on to my mom. Okay. And that got stolen.
Oh, fuck.
And I remember my mom just like breaking down. Like, I mean, like my mom is very good with pressure and stress. Like she's an air traffic controller. Okay. You know, and so like she handles like stressful situations very, very well. Absolutely. So it was like one of the first times in my life that I had seen my mom like absolutely like break down, like in tears. And I remember she actually just like, I mean, it sounds so dramatic, but I mean, like, this is exactly how it was. Like, she fell to her knees, like, when she, like, looked for the ring and it was gone. Yeah. And it was a very, like, devastating moment. And so, for sure. Me, like the naive fucking person that I am, I went back to my friends and I explained all of this to my friends, like, all of the things that were missing. Yeah. And I remember just saying, like, if anything gets found, like, this is, like, the one thing that's so important to us in our family. Right. Like, could you please help me find this? And I just explained to them, what it looked like. Sure. And lo and behold, like, 2 days later, they're like, I think we found that ring.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Magically just appeared again.
Yes. They're like, I think it's at this pawn shop right across the street from your house.
Oh, my God. It's at the pawn shop.
Yes.
How much did they sell that shit for?
So the pawn shop didn't want to give it to my mom. So they were like, you're going to have to file a police report. And my mom didn't want to have to do all that. She like, it was important to her. She took off work when I told her that it was there. Right. And she took off work and she came and she saw it and she's like, how much do you want for it? And they sold it back to my mom for $500. Damn. Yeah. Wow. I'm like, yeah. So like I think they had like a higher listing price on it. But my mom's like, you don't want me to call the cops because obviously you don't have the ticket. You know what I mean?
So
like
she kind of got him on that.
Yeah. And she's like, I'll give you, like, she offered them the $500. She's like, I'll give you $500. Just give it to me right now.
I see.
Yeah.
No problems.
Yes. And so.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. And so that was like one of like the only redeeming moments in my like first part of my early disease. Right. That she did end up getting that back, but like it did end up getting just like so much more worse from there. Like, that was like right around the time the fires, the California fires. Like it was like back in like
07?
Yeah, 07 happened. And man, that again to me was like fucking, it was like letting a kid loose in like Disneyland, you know what I mean? Because my mom was in Vegas at the time and she tried to come back, but the fires were so bad that they shut down the 15 freeway for like almost a week. Nobody was able to fucking travel on the 15.
Yeah, I remember.
And so that was like, I was just like, dude, like nobody's coming home. I don't have school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, this is fucking the best. You know what I mean? And I remember I would just stay out all night, just fucking getting high, getting loaded. And my disease just fucking got worse and worse and worse. And my mom, I remember she finally got home and like, I was like, I'm also, like everybody, especially tweakers, like all pick at their face, like, but, I, you know what I mean? Like, but for me, like I have like, it's like, I excoriate, right? And it was like so bad. I would give myself, staph infections. Like at one point I might've they were really scared that I had given myself MRSA. And like, because like, and it wasn't just my face, like I would pick up like my whole body, my whole body. Yeah. And so it was getting really, really bad. And, my mom, I remember she was just like, we need to, she's like, you need like, because it was getting close to me turning like 18. And she's like, you can either go to rehab, or when you turn 18, you're going to have to find somewhere else to live. And to me, like it didn't even bother me that like she was like trying to kick me out. You know what I mean? I'm like, I just never knew that I could ask for help. Like that's how naive I was. Like I didn't even know about like 12-step meetings at all. Like I didn't even know what AA was, what NA was. Like I didn't know anything. Right. And so when she offered me that like olive branch, basically, I kind of took it. I was like, yes, like I'll go to rehab. I'll do whatever. You know what I mean? And when you're a minor and you go to rehab, it's like jail.
Pretty much.
You can't fucking leave.
Nope.
Like they will not let you leave.
Nope.
And so that did clean me up for like a little while. You know what I mean? But I remember going there and they introduced me to my first my first meeting was AA, right?
Really?
And they were like, oh, we're gonna go to an AA meeting. Okay. And my only familiarity was like that was like I thought it was like associated with like the car insurance.
AAA?
Yes, bro.
What wonderful people.
I know. I'm like, it's so weird that we're going to meeting about insurance.
They really care. They really care.
right. I'm like, so, but that's like, so that's how, like, I had said that out loud. I'm like the car insurance? Yeah. And they're like, no.
They look at you like, what the fuck?
And they're like, no. And so, I walked into my first room of a 12-step meeting. Okay. And, people welcomed me. Yeah. People were so kind and excited. Like they, man, I had this big book for the longest time, all the way up until just recently. Really? Because I gave it to somebody who was like wanting to go to AA from NA because that's where they felt more comfortable. And so I ended up giving it to them because I'm like, you should really do what's right for you. And if you need to like, you know, like have some literature in order to like confirm that you are like this is the fellowship that you like identify with more, then you can take this book because I don't read it. You know what I mean? Like I like just like like I don't read it. Like I mean I just I did like early like you know in my journey, but today like I'm highly grounded in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. Like that is my fellowship of choice. That's what I identify, and you know, that's my home. And so like, I felt like it was, you know, kind of like passing a torch on, like, you know, if this is where your journey takes you, like, I hope this book helps you, you know, and, rather than it just sitting in my room collecting dust, you know what I mean? But, at that meeting they did, everybody signed the book and like, had like, it was so crazy. Cool. Like, so people's like, clean dates were in there from from like back into like, it was 2009 by the time that I went, but it wasn't by the time I graduated yet. So it was like back in 2009 when people were signing all of this. And so people's like clean dates from back in 2009, people's telephone numbers from back in 2009, you know, it was really cool. And I kept it for all those years. And people, I remember just people just being so kind. And like at that first meeting, it felt like so like relatable, you know what I mean? And it was very emotional for me. It was like very emotionally overwhelming for me. Yeah. Because I had never felt this kind of acceptance in my life at all. You know what I mean? Like I said, I've always kind of been like the odd one out in my family. Sure. So going into a room full of people that I don't know, right? That really just didn't even look anything like me or seem anything like me. Sure. Were so welcoming and loving and kind and caring and compassionate, and non-judgmental. You know, it was one of the first moments in my life where I felt like I really belonged somewhere. And I wish I could say like I got clean, you know, like
that would have been awesome, clean, right?
Right. But I got out of there and I was like, I just turned 18. Like, I'm like, dude, am I supposed to like stay clean through like my 21st birthday too? Like,
whoa,
you know, like
yeah,
that's wild.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like that's a big ask, you know?
That's a big ask.
And so I got out and I was like, you know, I'm just not going to do meth anymore.
Awesome.
Right. Yeah.
Fair. That's a fair compromise.
We'll see how it fucking played out. It doesn't play out well for Keela.
You started smoking and drinking and then
Yeah. Well, because then I started stripping for a while. Like I
started,
really? Yeah, because you know that's the perfect place for somebody in recovery.
Absolutely.
It was a perfect place for somebody in recovery.
Yeah.
And you know, but like that's just kind of like the way that my like brain works.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I didn't want to go to school because that was hard. Like I didn't want to do anything hard. I didn't want to do anything that like was very vulnerable. Like because no matter what, like I still didn't know like because the root of the disease is not the drugs. You know what I mean? And I hadn't worked on anything that was at the root of my disease, which was me. Right. You know what I mean? Right. I didn't want to feel feelings. I didn't want to do hard things. Because if I did hard things, I might fail, and that is just terrifying. Yeah. And so that was like an easy answer for me, and I did that for like maybe 4 or 5 years. Oh, okay. You know, and to me, like, even to this day, like I have some of like the best memories, like working and dancing, like with, because like you form this like home group, right? Like you like this home club, like, and the girls that you are working with are all very like, I mean, we were all very close. Like we would hang out and celebrate each other's birthdays. Like, you know, we would go out and we would do things like, we would go on road trip, like all sorts of things, you know? But it really like the stress of the job, like really, placated my disease. You know what I mean? It allowed and excused, and justified a lot of the reasons why, I could start heavily drinking. Heavily drinking. And, you know, and I mean, to my defense, like I didn't do meth, you know what I mean?
Okay, you did not.
Yeah, I didn't do meth, but like I was doing cocaine, and I was also like doing ecstasy again. I was also doing like, I mean, but drinking was like, that's when I really kind of like leaned into drinking. And formed this like extreme like dependence. Like I was heavily alcoholic.
Oh,
heavily.
I was about to ask that, was it?
Yes, heavily alcoholic.
Was it that level?
Yeah, so I mean, I would be drinking like liters, right?
Oh God.
Of Sky vodka, just straight from the fucking liter too.
Ooh.
And and, like it was rough, but like I would like try and be like, you know, maybe I should like slow down with my drinking. So I would go to work and I would be like, you know, I'm not gonna drink at work today. And I remember I went on stage. And I got off of stage and I was just shaking, like it, like convulsing, shaking and sweating. And one of the managers came up to me. She's like, "What is wrong with you?" And I'm like, she's like, "Are you drunk?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "I didn't drink. Like I didn't bring anything to drink." And I'm like, "And that's why I'm feeling like that." And she's like, She's like fucking literally. She's like, somebody get her some alcohol
Right now.
Yes, yes.
Medicine.
She's
Get
like,
your
don't
medicine.
ever do that again. And so I didn't. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like it really fostered this acceptance of like me being an alcoholic.
Right. Absolutely.
And until I started having like a lot of like, because I mean, my job wasn't going to ever stop me from drinking. Like I performed better when I was drinking.
Right.
I was more comfortable drinking. I would make more money drinking.
Sure.
And
I
so
can see
they were never going to be like, you need to stop drinking so much. You know what I mean? If I got too drunk and too sloppy, they would send me home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And driving, by the way, I've, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So they're like, you know, you gotta go. Like if you drive home, like they didn't ask no questions once I walked out the door.
Yeah.
So but they would never stop me from drinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only thing that really made me start to be like, fuck, maybe I should really slow down with this drinking is because I would end up in the hospital like once, like every 3 weeks, maybe with pancreatitis.
Oh.
I started getting really bad pancreatitis. And so like my brain just could not grasp that I was going to have to stop drinking altogether in order because it's painful. You know what I mean? It's so fucking painful. And it did not register to me. And so I'm like, maybe, I mean, everything that the fucking big book talks about, you know, to its credit, like it is exactly what an alcoholic does every single time.
Right.
I'm like, you know, I'm like, well, if it's the vodka that's making it this way, maybe I should switch to beer.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Substitute.
Yeah, and so that worked out a little bit. But then I would just have like, you would walk into my house and like there would just be mad, like it was the time of like strawberritas.
Oh
yeah And there would just be fucking mad cans just everywhere, you know, and
just to make up for all that fucking hard liquor.
And so, and you know, in no time I was going back to the hospital with pancreatitis again.
Fuck.
And I remember like talking to my mom and like telling her, I'm like, Mom, you know, I think I'm really sick. Like, I don't think I'm going to be able to fucking stop this on my own. Mm-hmm. And that's when I found out that like, actually like detoxing from alcohol is super fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's actually the worst one.
Yeah. And so like, my mom was like, trying to get me into like a, alcoholic detox.
Yeah.
But at this point I'm a fucking adult. You know what I mean? Like I'm an adult. I'm like, fuck that, dude. I'm like, like I can freely leave here. Like,
sure.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you can't make me stay.
Right.
And so I would fucking leave. And, you know, my grandpa was sick and back in Palmdale, like, so my dad's dad. Mm-hmm. And they were like, you know, because I was like just kind of like lost at this point. Like I was like a pivotal like identity crisis. And they're like, why don't you come down and help, you know, your grandpa, because he was, you know, kind of he was suffering from like congestive heart failure, like he was bedridden, and like he needed like in-home care. And so I'm like, you know, maybe I'll do that. That's what I'm gonna do. And so I picked up, because I'm like, you know, moving is geographical. It's a geographical thing,
right? You
know. And so I moved to go help my grandpa, and but I didn't stop drinking. You know what I mean? Like I didn't stop drinking. But you know, it gave me a little bit of sense of purpose. You know, I was absolutely like on my feet all day long, like doing laundry, cleaning up, making food, helping him with like his physical therapy, getting him to and from appointments, picking up dry cleaning, and you know, doing all that kind of stuff. Like. And I remember I was there for like almost like 6 months prior to like, I never took a day off. And so I remember like my grandpa, he was saying like, Keela, like, why don't you just take a day off? Like, why don't you take the weekend and go up and see your friends? Like you, like in San Diego. And so I'm like, you know what? Okay. But it was like very stressful for me because like he has like these, like so many medications that he has to take at like certain times. And like, you know, just like a good addict. Like, I'm like, I want to be in control of this. Like, because I know that if this whole pill like thing was to turn upside down
Mhm.
and everything was to fall on the floor. Like I know that I could put it back to where it's supposed to be.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
sure.
But like trusting somebody else with that was like a big deal for me.
Right.
And so I remember I like wrote this huge fucking instruction letter for my dad because my dad stepped in and so I could take the weekend off. And like all of his pills were made out and like all of his food because he couldn't have salt. Like he had, so everything was like with no sodium.
Got it.
So I'm like, everything was already pre-made. And, you know, and I remember it was raining. And I was like, I used to have this like really tiny like Chevy Aveo, a yellow Chevy Aveo.
Yeah.
And it was so shitty. And my my grandpa drove a Ford Explorer, and he's like, "Why don't you take the Explorer?"
Okay.
You know, because it was like pouring out.
I see.
And he's like, you know, it's just safer for you to take the Ford Explorer.
Oh. Okay.
And I was like, oh yeah, okay, you know, I'll take the Ford Explorer. And so I came up to San Diego, and that was like the last time I ever talked to my grandpa. Like he went into the hospital that weekend, and he was put on a ventilator, and I remember they called me like the second day that I was in San Diego, and they were like, "Hey, listen, like your grandpa's in the hospital. It doesn't look good. Like you should probably come back out and, you know, like say goodbye kind of thing." And to me, like it just didn't register. Like I didn't want to register that. You know what I mean? I didn't want to have to see him that way. Because like the way that I did his home care was like, you know, and the reason it worked because like he has lots of family there. Like my dad was there, my uncles are there, my aunt was there. Like they all live in the same fucking city still. But none of them was able to like effectively help him because my grandpa's like very like stubborn. You know what I mean? But my approach was like, he's a grown, like he's not a baby, right? And that's a thing. Like when people start dealing with elderly people, they start treating them like children, and that is so dehumanizing. You know what I mean? Allow them to make their own decisions. Like he's a grown ass man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lived a fucking long life, and he is able and capable of making his own decisions. So if he doesn't want to get up today, then I'm not gonna fucking make him get up. Who am I? You know what I mean? Like if he doesn't want to get up, but I do tell him, I'm like, if you don't get up, like physical therapy is going to really, really be hard when you do decide to get up. And so I'm gonna leave the choices up to you. You know what I mean? But if you want me to bring your breakfast in bed and your dinner in bed, like I'm not going to make you. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to judge you for it either. You know, and so that was like my approach, you know. But he still really valued the way that like I honored his independence, you know what I mean? And so the idea of me having to go back and see him in the hospital was just like very, very overwhelming for me. And so I just kind of ignored it. You know what I mean? Like nothing ever happened. I was like I pretended like I never got the phone call. And like a week went by, and I was still in San Diego, and my dad called again, and he's like, "Keela, are you coming?" And I'm like, I was like, "Coming where?" And he's like, "To the hospital. Like your grandpa's in the hospital." And I'm like, I don't really want to, you know? Because in this time also, I was like going through like a mental breakdown, you know what I mean? And I remember being on the phone with my mom and being like, you know, what the fuck? Like, you know, I might as well just fucking go back out and like start doing fucking meth again. Like everything in my life sucks. Like everything in my life fucking sucks. Like I'm back here, no better than where I was when I left 6 months ago. I'm still fucking a complete drunk, you know. And I fucking I just lost like at the moment the most important person to me. And I'm like, I might as well just fucking go out and get high again. You know. And at this time my mom was working in Dubai as an independent contractor for the airport or FAA. And so I was like having this conversation with her when she's in Dubai, like she can't fucking do anything about it. You know what I mean? And so that's exactly what I did. I went out and I fucking got high. And, you know, lo and behold, the fucking cure for fucking alcoholism is absolutely meth. Meth will cure your alcoholism so fucking quick. So it fucking will. You know what I mean? Because like by day fucking three.
Bye, alcohol.
Yeah. By day fucking 3, I was like, dude, I haven't had a drink in 3 fucking days.
Amazing.
Dude. Right?
Amazing.
I also haven't slept. I also haven't ate.
Wow.
Fucking, you know what I mean? Like,
a lot of things you're not doing anymore.
I know, dude. So it fucking, you know, I was cured of my alcoholism all of a sudden.
Amazing.
And the next thing, but you know, now here I am, like just a fucking full blown fucking tweaker.
Yeah.
And then my dad calls by the weekend, and I'm fucking just lit, you know, lit.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, and so when he's like, "Are you coming?" I'm like, "Coming where?" You know what I mean? And he's like, and in my mind, I'm like, "Oh yeah, you know, like fuck, like this is not gonna be good."
Yeah.
Like I don't look good. I'd already started fucking picking at my skin again.
Oh God.
I'm like, and I'm like, everybody's gonna be able to spot this like a mile away.
Right.
You know what I mean?
They'll know.
And I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna come. And my dad's like, "What do you mean you don't think you're gonna come?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna come." And he's like, "You have to come because I'm your father and I said so." And I was like,
ooh.
to me, I've always really like in that backhanded like addict way respected what my parents say and like what they want, like but like not like when it came down to it, I always chose me and my disease before I chose like them.
Right.
But like, you know, like at the like surface level, like when they said things, like I would really listen to my parents.
Right.
And so when he said that, I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll come, you know? And so I came and I went to the hospital, and my dad, like I was going up in the elevator with my dad, and he's like, "Are you ready?" And I'm like, to me, I'm like, ready for what? You know?
Right.
Ready for what? Like, I'm just like I'm here. And he's like, well, he's not really himself. Like, he's like, so you need to just kind of be prepared for that.
Okay.
And when I walked, like, there was nothing that could have prepared me for that. Like, I remember, especially even getting into like my last time around with treatment when I was in drug court, like, that was one of the biggest things that I've, like, it was one of the things that used to haunt me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like seeing him that way, like he had like a child, you know what I mean? Like just tubes, like he didn't know where he was. He didn't know who he was, like, you know, and I remember like he wasn't like responsive to anybody. But I remember like when I walked into the room, like, everybody kind of just like gave me a little bit of privacy with him.
Right.
And I remember just kind of like talking to him and, asking him, like, you know, things that I was just curious about, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, do you know who I am? You know what I mean? And like, he squeezed my hand, you know what I mean? And like, so I think that everybody has these like stories about when they see their like loved ones passing in the hospital, and like, they give them these signs. Like, I don't know if it was a sign that I was interpreting that, you know, he knew who I was and that I was there and was cognitive, but, I choose to interpret it that way because it makes me feel better. You know, and so like he squeezed my hand, and I remember asking him, like, "Are you scared?" Yeah. You mean like, "Are you scared?" And like he started crying. You know what I mean? Yeah. Right. And but like he had tubes in his mouth, and like he couldn't say anything, and so like he started crying, and he was just like looking at me, and my grandpa's always been like a like very like a devout Christian, and like very like firm in his faith. And to me, like even to this day, like that's not necessarily something that I particularly believe in. Sure. But I knew that that was something that made him feel better. Right. You know, and so that's just what I said to him. I'm like, you don't need to be scared. Like, God will take care of you. You know what I mean? Like everything that needs, like that's gonna happen, like God will take care of you. You know, God knows your heart. Right. And you don't need to be afraid. And if you're afraid because you're afraid of like what we're gonna do and how we're gonna feel, I'm like, that's not important. Right. You know what I mean? Like that is not important. You know, and so I remember like that I walked out of that room, and like I never saw him again. Yeah. And like I had a huge falling out with my dad's side of the family at that point. Came back to San Diego, and you know, just continued on, you know, and just kind of like stuffed that like in the back of my mind, you know. Even like in the first like year year, maybe 2 years of my recovery, like that whole like scene was just super hard for me to talk about, you know. But like I've really just kind of like had to like sit with it, you know what I mean, and be like, you know, that's like I've just, life happens, you know, whether you're an addict or you're fucking in recovery or you're like normal, like life happens. And you know, at the time, like I dealt with it like the exact way that I knew how, which was not, you know what I mean, like which was just continue to get high, continue to like ignore and suppress and pretend like those feelings never happened, and not like I would do anything to just not talk about it, you know. And so, you know, that's I mean, my disease, like at that point, like it wasn't in my mind what I decided at this point, because I knew what I was getting back into when I was starting. Like I'm like, but I'm not going to be a naive drug addict anymore. You know what I mean? Right. I'm going to sell drugs instead.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like like they're not going to get me this time.
No, I see. You'll be the master.
Yeah.
You will sell them,
I'm going to sell drugs.
And you will profit.
Yes. And I'm not going to be stupid about any of it. Nobody's coming inside my house, you know? So I thought I was just so fucking smart, you know?
Right.
And my, you know, my thought process, like I ended up meeting the person that I was with for that entire time. Like I met him, he came over with one of my friends and wanted to buy some drugs. And to me, I don't know, this has happened to me like a few times in my life. Like, but now I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, you really shouldn't have trusted that because you're on fucking drugs, Keela.
Right.
Like, so he walked into the room and like, I mean, I could just, oh my God, it sounds so fucking stupid now. Yeah. Because I'm like, dude, he was probably so strung out and so fucking skinny. Yeah. But like, he walked into the room and like, I had like, like the butterflies, dude.
Oh,
I'm
really?
like, but he was so strung out. You know what I mean? I'm like, but to me, in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, he's so handsome.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh my God. So stupid.
The Skeletor looking man.
Yes,
I
dude.
love it.
Yes, dude. I'm like his fucking, like if he was like in Mortal Kombat, right? Like his fucking super fucking power would be like always like running away. You know what I mean? Like that would be his specialty. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he was superpower. Yeah, dude. It. Like he was not built for conflict. You know what I mean?
So fucking funny.
Yeah. And you know, bless his fucking heart.
Bless his heart, man.
Yeah. So but I was in I mean, so he wasn't built for conflict if you were a man, you know what I mean? And right. So like he but and to his credit, like I mean, he was like very narcissistic. Like he was a heroin addict. Okay. And checks I was out. And I was it was like I've always just been my drug of choice has always been meth. Right. You know what I mean? But I was still smoking at that point, and he was like a IV fucking heroin user.
Yeah, straight junkie.
And so to me, it was like it felt like such polar opposites.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it is.
And
two different cultures kind of going on.
Like I mean, like he fucking gets high and he fucking like nods off.
Right.
I get high and I fucking I fucking start like 5, 6 different projects.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And never finish any of them.
Yeah. Yeah. So you know, it was just like it was a very odd
for sure
connection.
Yeah.
And you know, but being like he was like so like especially when he was sick, like nothing else fucking mattered.
Right.
And like but sometimes those were the only times that he was ever sweet to me. You know what I mean? Because he needed me.
Oh,
you know
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Because he needed me.
He's manipulating you.
Yes, because I was selling drugs. He's like, could you trade for some heroin? You know, and I was like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And but to me, it was like I took the crumbs. Like I took the crumbs because I again, like, you know, addressing that thing that I've never addressed the real problem of my disease. Like I never really understood that I was worth more and had value. That I'm like, why are you accepting crumbs? You know what I mean? Like, why are you like, I just liked that he was being nice to me. You know what I mean? I liked that he was being sweet to me. Like, I wanted that to last. And as soon as he
even
would
though
get
it wasn't real,
right, and as soon as he would get fucking loaded, he would be fucking back to his original fucking self.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, such an asshole.
Right.
Like, he would be fucking accusing me of like cheating and all the crazy things. And like,
and you were the provider for him.
yes.
Fuck.
Like, I was his job. That's what I fucking tell everybody. I'm like, I was his job. He is a professional moocher. You know what I mean? Like, he is and if it wasn't me, it was gonna be some other fucking dumb bitch that he tricks into fucking mooching.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, but I was his job. You know what I mean? Like, his 9 to 5. Like, he fucking worked me every day, all day, in order to make sure he had somewhere to stay, made sure that he had food, made sure that he got loaded, made sure like that I could take him, drive him to and from wherever he wanted to go.
Right.
You know, like, I was his 9 to 5, you know what I mean? And so, you know, he like played it very perfectly in a way that like how abusers do.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, like, he would give me like a little bit of fucking sweet, and then he would like deprive me of it, you know? And so I would fucking do anything to fucking get it back. And you know, but it turned into like this thing that I'm like, it was such a toxic relationship on both ends. You know what I mean? Like, I can't say that, like, you know, I mean, I was not like a complete victim. You know what I mean? Like, I
you were allowing it.
Well, not just allowing it, but like the longer I allowed it to continue, the worse I became in response to him. You know what I mean? So like, he would fucking hit me, and we would have boxing matches. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and so
until he runs away.
Yes, until he would run away. But then, like, I mean, I'm also just not like, that's like, I'm not that sane of a bitch. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like fucking like reasoning and like being like sensible does not occur to me, especially if I'm like in the middle of my disease. Like, so when he runs away, like, he would have to dash in between like houses because I would be chasing him in my car. Okay. I'm like, and I would be I would drive up on the sidewalks. Like, I did not in my little Chevy Aveo. Okay.
The cool yellow car.
Yes. I'm like, and so like, I mean, it was not healthy, you know? And so I remember thinking to myself, like it had gone so bad, like, he had fucking given me a black eye once. And my mom looked at me and she's like, why do you hate yourself? You know what I mean? Like, why do you hate yourself so much? And I'm like, and like, it just, some of those things just never occurred to me. Right. That I'm like, what do you mean hate myself? Like, obviously I love myself. You know what I mean? I think I'm like, I'm badass. You know what I mean?
Of course.
But you know, I'm like, everybody calls me because I'm the fucking dope man. You know what I mean? I am badass. And
you are the queen of the underworld.
Yes, right. In my fucking mind. You know, I'm the legend in my own fucking mind.
Absolutely.
And my mom's like, no. She's like, because on top of me having this black eye, like, my face was just fucking completely fucking tore up. And she's like, I think that you make your outsides match how you feel about yourself on the inside. Damn. And she's like, people who love themselves do not do this to themselves. Right. And I remember like looking at myself in a mirror that day and being like, what the fuck? You know, like, where is my life gone? You know what I mean? And I remember thinking to myself, like, what does that even mean? Like, and for the longest time, even in the first like few years of my recovery, I didn't even understand truly what it meant to like love myself. You know what I mean? It's something that I feel like a lot of people regurgitate without ever knowing what the meaning is. And you'll never know what the meaning is until you actually get to feel it and experience it. Kind of just like how recovery is, you know, like, you'll never understand the gifts of recovery until you get to experience the gifts of recovery. And before that happens, you just have to have like a little bit of faith, you know what I mean? And I remember thinking that like my relationship with him was going to be the death of me. Like, I thought like for sure, like, he was going to end up killing me, like, maybe not on purpose. Like, he was probably going to drive us, like, yank the fucking car, steering wheel, you know what I mean? Like, he was going to, like,
most cowardly way.
Yes, you know? And, like, I thought, like, he was going to be the death of me. I'm like, I'm never going to be able to get clean because I can't stay away from him, you know? And again, the craziest, the simplest fixes for, like, the serious problems, right? The biggest fix to a fucking junkie, coward, boyfriend, abuser boyfriend, all you got to do is just go to jail for a little while. Right? That fucking solves that.
You don't exist no more. You're gone.
Yes. He's like, dude, what am I going to do? I just lost my job.
Yeah.
You know?
Gotta go find another one now.
I know.
Start applying.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. And so I was like, well, that was fucking easy, you know? And, you know, I got into drug court and, when they were doing my intake, I was like so honest about everything. And then, so when I was doing my intake, they were like, what do you think your biggest challenges are going to be? And so I said that. I was like, I think my ex is going to be one of my biggest fucking challenges. That I'm like, I'm afraid I won't be able to stay away from him. And they're like, we'll go ahead and help you out with that.
Oh.
Yeah, they're like, we're going to put a restraining order, a stay away order.
Okay.
By law, you cannot be around him or you will go back to jail. We can terminate you if we are ever found to be around him, near him.
Damn.
Yeah. And so that really fucking helped, you know? And
okay.
I would like, I mean, you know, we were kind of talking before we started recording, like how my disease was like in normal height. And so Chula Vista, I got caught in Chula Vista.
Oh yeah, you caught your case.
So like it's one of the very few times that like a slight geographical change really fucking helped me. You know, I really started building my life in Chula Vista.
I see.
And you know, I was like in drug court at the time, like they were fucking. I remember my intake. My counselor, she asked me, she's like, what do you want out of this program? Right. And I share about this in my stories, like in my testimonies, like when I share at the conventions, I always talk about this. They're like, she asked me, what do you want out of this program? And I told them, like, most people ask, like, they're like, oh, I want my kids back. I want my family back. Like, you know, like I want to have a car and a job and like start my life. Okay. And for me, like my first like immediate response was like, I want to find out who I am. Right. I'm like, because I want to learn how to love myself because I don't know how to do that, you know, and how am I supposed to love myself if I don't even know who I am? Right. Like, I feel like I'm walking around with a stranger every day. Right. And so that's what I said, you know, and so from the time that I got there, they put me in the, women's trauma group. Right. So like there was an entire women's trauma group that like we stayed together. We weren't allowed to change groups. We had to design our whole schedule around that fucking group. Damn. Yeah. And so like there was no like, oh, we have to miss group. You cannot miss group. And so, but it was, I mean, and that's like we were talking about before, like how drug court was like way more hardcore prior to Medi-Cal, the changes that happened with Medi-Cal. Right. And so
it was very strict.
Yeah, and
I was
so
scared of it.
that was the time that I went to drug court. You know what I mean? Is when it was still like that. Like I had to get a job in 90 days. Yeah. And like you went back to jail for fucking anything. Anything. There was no fucking. Oh, yeah. There was no ankle monitor.
They
for
did
us.
not hesitate.
Yeah, there was no ankle monitor for us. You go straight to jail. You know what I mean?
And when you get a warrant from them, they'll get you. Yes. In a day.
Yes.
It's nuts.
I'm like, and so, you know, you went to jail for fucking absolutely anything. You missed curfew, straight to jail. You know what I mean? Like you missed calling the testing line, straight to jail. Yeah. So it was like, just, but the structure helped. Yeah. Because I remember when they asked me, they're like, are you willing to do what this program is going to ask of you, which is going to be a lot. Mm-hmm. And I remember like feeling so genuine in this, like, I will do whatever you guys ask me to do. Like, you guys say jump and I'm already jumping, you know what I mean? And so, I mean, I was at home. I chose to restructure. And this is like kind of like the first time that I really did it on my own, was like, you can change your entire world if you just shift your perspective just a little bit. Yeah. Like, I remember thinking to myself, like, drug court can't fucking force me. They can't force me. No. I'm not in jail anymore. If I wanted to I remember saying, like, if I want to stay out past curfew, I fucking absolutely can. And I will. You know what I mean? But I choose to come home by curfew because I don't like to go to jail on the weekends. You know what I mean? Like, sure. like all of it is a choice. Like, and as soon as I get my power back and my power of choice back, like, it doesn't seem so bad anymore. You know what I mean? Like, they're not making me fucking do anything. And so when I did get sanctioned, when I did get in trouble, like, I remember never really blaming them for that. I'm like, if this is a product of my own choices, I see. You know what I mean? Like, and so I was able to really claim responsibility for that kind of stuff pretty quickly. And I didn't form any resentment, you know, towards drug court. Like, drug court was one of the best things that's ever happened to me. And like, the drug court public defender, Audrey, she is actually now like such a good close friend of mine.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, like I watch her dog. I have the keys to her house. Like,
Oh.
yeah, like I
Wow.
mean, and like we're very close, and the kind of things like how drastically like my life changed because
Yeah.
of drug court was just absolutely incredible. They introduced me like to the rooms because we had to get our 3 meetings every week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so for me, my my introduction back into NA was just critical,
Sure.
critical, and the structure that drug court emphasized around our meetings was critical. Getting a sponsor was critical, and like I went through a few sponsors. You know what I mean? Just
Okay.
because, like I had this idea because like
Yeah.
I talked about like the women's trauma group, the woman who facilitated that group, Kathy is she's changed my life, like because like the way that she did therapy with me, like it was like I was just so open at that point, and like the way that she helped me has just changed my life, and so getting out of there, like I and finding a sponsor, like I always in my mind I pictured somebody just like her,
Okay.
because I had never been able to learn from anybody
Sure.
else like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
and
Starting out.
so I had like this almost like unrealistic expectation of what my sponsor should be like,
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
and so I kind of went through a couple, and now I have the sponsor that I have,
Okay.
and it's so crazy how much like Kathy she reminds me.
Oh, yeah.
Like she's so loving, kind, caring, and like so just like balanced. You know what I mean? Like I just feel very like calm when I'm with her.
Yeah.
And I never feel judged. But I always feel accountable. You know what I mean?
see.
Like she always keeps me accountable. She's never afraid to tell me things that I might not want to hear.
Right.
And like drug court laid that foundation. And like somebody had told me before, they're like, treatment is the foundation to your recovery.
Mm-hmm.
The rooms in Narcotics Anonymous is where you build a life. This
Right.
is how you build your life. Like this is a lifestyle now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Treatment, it gives you that
Yeah.
that nice little lift off into a
Right.
brand new way of life.
That's exactly it.
You know?
It's like a little dot.
Yeah.
Like a little dot.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, wow. Like I feel like that was like a you asked me about where I grew up, and now I'm like fucking like, like all the way down halfway through my story. So but yeah, I mean that's kind of where it is, you know what I mean?
The
like-
last time you used was that incident in that you had in
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to talk about that.
Yeah. So 12, 14, 18 is my clean date.
Oh yeah.
And I remember it was the day that so hold on.
No, yeah. You're good. I'll take it.
So I got arrested, and I didn't go into drug court right away. That time I got arrested, I got into a high-speed chase, actually.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's when I got arrested the first time, and I was away for 9 months, and I was like, oh, he'll fucking leave. And
Yeah, he'll
never,
leave you alone forever.
right, but I didn't get accepted in drug court. I was just on probation when I got out after the 9 months. And then when I was on probation, I obviously, like, I just kind of just went right back to doing what I was doing, and there was a point where he got arrested and went to jail.
Okay.
And I got this bright idea that I'm like, oh, I'm going to go visit him. He'll see. He'll see
fuck.
how much I care.
Wow.
Right. And so I remember, he was in George Bailey, and I didn't know. I mean, and this is the kind of like what speaks to the fact that like I'm such a naive like addict. Like I had never really been to George Bailey up until that point.
Oh, okay.
And so I didn't
First
know that it's a one way in, one way out, and usually the way out is in a cop car.
very
And so
secluded.
I was like, okay, well, at that point I was just kind of getting loaded wherever.
Sure.
And so I'm like, I'm going to get loaded before I go to George Bailey at the bottom of the hill. And so I got high at the bottom and I threw everything in the back in the trunk, which is just kind of like still open and attached to like my back seat.
Yeah.
And then I drove up and checked in. They knew I was on probation. So by the time that I got back to my car, they had circled up around me and they're like, oh, we're going to search your car because you're a fourth waiver.
Yeah.
And so they found the drugs on me. And I was like, fuck, dude, I didn't realize that was a fucking felony.
A real serious one.
Yeah. And so, so that was like, that was the last time that I got arrested. And that was the last day I got high.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So, since then, since really getting into recovery, I haven't relapsed,
Yeah.
While I was in jail, it was just the craziest thing. Because everybody, like I tell everybody, and this is what I say in a lot of my stories too, is that like, what people would look at like and see from the outside in, like, oh, it looks exactly the same as every other time that she said that she was going to get clean. Right. But the difference is that I felt it, I felt different.
You did.
And I asked God, like, please to help me. And I finally like surrendered. I didn't really believe in God. But I did see like all these like, come to Jesus Christians in jail. And, they seem like, maybe they might be right. Because right now, like, there's no harm in it because there's nothing that's going to fucking help me. Yeah. Right. They wanted to give me fucking prison time. And so I was like, fuck, dude, like, because of the high-speed chase, like they wanted to revoke my probation and send me to prison for the felony that I caught on probation. And I was going to school at the time. So because I had like this wild hair at my ass that I wanted to fucking go to school and get loaded and do crime. And but I wanted to like work with elephants, like and work in Africa.
Oh,
and
fun.
Yeah, and so that like for some reason it just like it's like ignited this like sense of purpose in me. And so when I got arrested, for like the first time in my life, like something mattered to me more than getting high did, which is just so mind blowing.
Right.
That was the thing, for the first time in my life, like I saw that dream that I had just kind of like slipping through my fingers like sand. And it was just devastating to me that I'm like, they want to send me to prison. I remember my first thought was like, I'll never be able to do that if they send me to prison. Right. And so I tried it. I'm like, maybe I should pray.
I see.
Right. And I didn't really know how to pray, but I was just like, God, like, hey, I don't know if you're there, but if you are, like, please help me. I don't want to live like this anymore. But also I came with like some conditions, you know what I mean? Sure. I was like, God, yeah. So if you are real though, like, and you do actually want to help me, I'm going to have a few rules like involved. Like,
whoa.
Yeah, okay. I know. I came with fucking rules.
Okay. Rules,
I was like, so God, like if you want to help me.
Oh, okay.
Right. If you want the gift of helping me, right. I'm going to need some proof.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to need some proof that you actually exist.
Okay.
Right. And so that's like the wildest thing happened is that like, I remember I like prayed and I went to sleep and I remember like waking up and like, I used to go in and argue with a lot of people that were like very like religious people on all these reasons why God wasn't. I'm like, there's no way. There's like, and I would come with all these like receipts, and I'd be like, no, this is why God isn't. This is why God isn't. And like, are you serious? This is why God isn't.
Yeah.
And but I remember waking up that morning and thinking like, all of the times in my life that I'm like, I really like should not be here. Like, there's so many times in my life that I've came so close to dying that I'm like, I should not be here. And logically, with all sense, like I should be dead. And I'm like, to me, those are the reasons in my life where there's no other explanation than God is, you know? And so that to me was God answering my prayers. He's like, if you want proof, like I'm going to give you this proof. And this is the proof that I'm going to give you is this sense of clarity, this sense of openness and willing to see the gifts versus like shutting them out. You know, and so God gave me this openness and this clarity to the gifts that I've had in my life, and it established this faith, that I have in a higher power. To this day, like, I mean, I guess a lot of people like categorize it as like agnostic. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really have like a name that I call my higher power. Like, I mean, I call it God just because it's easy, but it's not really attributed to any kind of like religion.
Yeah. I have a similar thing.
Yeah. So I'm like, to me, I'm like, how do I know? You know what I mean? But not just that, but like, why does it matter?
Right.
In my opinion, I'm like, why does it matter? Like, what God is? You know what I mean? I just know what I do know is what I think is important. That God has always been there for me. Yeah. God will always be there for me. And that my higher power loves me and cares for me, and will never give me anything that's not meant for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. Yeah. And so I stopped questioning. It is not important to me what God is. Right. You know what I mean? Because all I know is that in order to save my own life, like, that's all that mattered. And so that's gotten me where I am here, and that's enough for me. So, and it's actually like created this really healthy space for like allowing other people's beliefs to be true. You know what I mean? Right. Because it's not that I don't believe that. It's just that I don't know that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so whenever people like to talk to me about their faith, I'm like, you absolutely might be right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it's totally possible that you are correct. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so it allows this space for people to feel validated, even though I don't feel the same way.
Right.
And so, like, that's kind of like where I'm at. Like, I have this like very like strong spiritual connection with my higher power, and it's it's really just blossomed, you know what I mean? And that like I have so much clarity that like, people have talked to me about like not really in the rooms really, but like just people in life, like they're like, they're like concerned for my fucking soul. You know what I mean? And I'm like that is so kind of you to be concerned for my soul. But like there's just this sense of security in my faith that I know that I will absolutely be okay. You know what I mean? Like that I absolutely will be okay. Yeah. And I love that. Like recovery's given me that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And Narcotics Anonymous has like reaffirmed this importance and this like constant connection with my higher power, and how vital that is to my recovery. And it totally is. Like, I've gone through a lot of things in recovery that like are super fucking difficult. Like I've gone through a lot of like grief and loss. Like, I've also like, because, when I got clean, like I didn't fucking really like still address like all those things that make me a fucking addict. The like, underlying and issues. So I continued to pick poor partners. And, and so like I was with somebody for a couple years and, in drug court, right?
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Damn, that didn't work out.
Right. They're like, oh, look to the left, look to the right. Only one of you are going to make it. And I'm like, you know what? How about two?
Yeah, right.
How about two? Because I need him to make it.
Yes,
yes.
We were both going to die.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, we're cool. I know. I'm like, so.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's so funny. I'm like, but hey, so he ended up relapsing.
Damn.
Go figure, right?
Oh.
And my recovery at the time was just so fresh, you know what I mean? That like I was still in that kind of phase where you're like, oh my God, I need to save him.
Oh God,
right.
Yeah,
and
that doesn't work out very well.
No, it just makes my life chaos, Like I was living just like an addict would. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like out at all hours at night trying to find him, track him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like it was absolute insanity. And, fast forward because that didn't end well. Like he ended up breaking my nose. Right. Oh. And,
Whoa.
like it was crazy. I had never seen something like that, like happen and escalate so quickly. And he broke my nose in the middle of Market Street. Like he fucking like head butted me and broke my nose.
Oh,
and,
God.
Yeah, dude. And then like started to walk away, but like the adrenaline was just so fucking crazy right at that point.
Yeah.
That I just popped right up and I was like, where are you going? And I had like, dude, blood just everywhere.
Right.
And chasing him down fucking Market Street. I'm like, where the fuck are you going? You know, I'm like, and 3 years clean I was at this time. I was 3 years clean. Still doing crazy shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Looking like a crazy person on Market Street.
Yes, right. And so, and obviously, like, never okay. But to be fair, I did pop all of his tires. And,
you got him.
You know? And, like, I did pop all of his tires and then circled back and popped the girl's tires.
Oh, yeah. A side hoe?
Yeah. So they were fucking, between the two of them, they were running on 2 tires. You know what I mean? So he was a little upset about that. You know what I mean? He was not well.
Yeah.
So, you know, he fucking, and so it's never okay, never an excuse.
Right.
But I'm like, you know, people want to claim this victim, you know, especially when they're at the end of a domestic violence relationship. Right. I was not a complete victim in this. You know what I mean?
For sure.
I was still crazy. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I still was trying to suffocate him and make his recovery look like my recovery, and force him into force the square into the circle hole. He is not a circle yet. You know what I mean? Or he will never be a circle. Right. And that is not for me to decide. You know what I mean? Right. And all of that kind of stuff makes someone do kind of crazy shit.
It does.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like, he has his own choices, and he obviously fucking made some very poor choices and hurt me in a way that, like, someone should never feel hurt. Right. But, you know, I also made some pretty fucking poor choices. Yeah. And you know, but everything in my life, like, I remember thinking at that point in time, like, I still had this pretty close connection with my higher power, and thinking to myself, like, God, like, what is this? Like, why? Why is this happening to me? Right. You know what I mean? Like, what is this that I'm supposed to be learning from this? And I remember just thinking, somebody had asked me, they're like, dude, your life sucks so fucking bad. Like, why don't you just get high? Somebody asked me that. Whoa. Somebody fucking asked me that. And I said, you know Seriously? What? I remember thinking to myself, you know, like, just thinking, like, because I stopped and I thought about it. I was like, my life does fucking suck so bad. And I'm like, but it's never crossed my mind to get high.
No shit.
Like, it's never crossed my mind to get high. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and if I got high,
what does
like,
it do?
my life would be so much fucking worse.
Right.
So much fucking worse. Like, fuck no, dude. And so, I remember, like, just, like, praying a lot around that time, thinking, like, God, like, you know, I know that, like, this, like, is all supposed to be for something, but I would really appreciate it if you kind of just sped the lesson up, you know what I mean? Because because this sucks. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, this fucking sucks. And
get me out of this jam.
Yes. And but today, looking back on that, like, I would never fucking change it. You know what I mean? Like, I would never change it. And even to this day, like, and I will say something, and fucking all of the women will totally fucking hear me when I say they always fucking come back, dude.
Oh, yeah.
They always come back, period. Because fucking, I'm like, it doesn't, maybe fucking a year from now, 2 years from, but they always fucking come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is held true every single fucking time. Every time. Some dude has done me dirty. Every single time. And so, like, even recently, I remember, because I used to have to talk about this all the time. Like, what if he does get clean? And what if he ends up in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous? Again. You know what I mean? I would have to fucking sit there and fucking welcome him like a newcomer. How do I feel about that? And I had to work through that. You know what I mean? Because this isn't my fucking program. This isn't my fellowship. This is the fellowship for everybody who wants to get clean and stay clean. That's true. And so it is just as much his as it is mine. True. And so I remember thinking, I'm like, how am I going to deal with that? Yeah. You know what I mean? And so he did get clean. You know what I mean? He did get clean. And he reached out to me, and he was like, hey, I just wanted to say this and blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm so sorry. And you know what I mean? And to me, I'm just like, you know what? I'm like, I hold no animosity towards you. Okay. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, like, I remember thinking, if this day was to ever come, I would just tell you how grateful I am. Like, my gratitude towards you in that situation, because what you did for me is something that I would have never been able to do on my own. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because what that did is kickstarted this process of me actually fucking getting to know me. You know what I mean?
I see.
Because I had never been single. I was a serial fucking girlfend. You know what I mean?
No.
Like
That happens?
Yes, dude. Like I just could not be alone.
I can't
Right.
believe that.
Right. You know? And so it forced this fucking this singleness on me. And because I was just so like, I mean, rightfully so, like I was so heartbroken and hurt that like it was hard for me to be in relationships. And
Absolutely.
so it gave me this pause in order to really take a look at me. And that's when I really started to fall into this place of like what self-love means. And I got to know me, like, and all of the different parts of me, like, you know, they talk about like our you know, 4th, 5th, and 6th step, you know what I mean? It really opened my eyes to like who I am.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean? Like with my defects, my fucking assets, all of my inventory, you know, it just it really allowed me to just fall into this place of like, wow, I really fucking love who I'm seeing in the mirror. You know what I mean? I don't do affirmations. I think they're fucking weird, right? I think fucking affirmations are the most fucking like cheesy.
Okay.
So fucking cheesy.
Fair.
Right. I'm like, why am I sitting, like the last person that I want to fucking be lying to is my fucking self.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I remember it was suggested to me that like, why don't you start with things that you do know? You know what I mean? Why don't you start telling yourself things that you do know? And so it started real superficial. You know what I mean? Like, oh, Keela, you're so funny. Like, you know what I mean? Like I used to tell myself that all the time. I'm like, dude, you're so fucking funny. You know what I mean? And like it started with small things. And then I'm like, oh, wow, your hair looks really good today. And then I would help somebody and be like, wow, Keela, you are so kind. You know what I mean? And then I would like start like figuring things out and be like, wow, Keela, you're so wise. Like, and so it would just get deeper and deeper and deeper. And it really like helped me establish this sense of self-worth. You know what I mean? This sense of value that I bring as a person into a relationship, into a friendship, into as an employee, as a person. You know what I mean? That like I have this value, I have this worth that people have to earn that. You know what I mean? Like this isn't something that I just need to freely give to everybody, you know, because that's what I was doing before. And when you do that, you cheapen your value, you lessen your self-worth if you just continue to give everything that you have to anybody who fucking meets you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Regardless of what they do to you. You know, so to me, it's like it helped me establish boundaries. Like I will never fucking allow that to happen to me again. I really need to pay attention to things that I see as a red flag in the beginning.
Sure.
You know, because it's so much easier to
Yeah.
walk away
Absolutely.
in the beginning, right? When you see the first one and just walk away with love, you release with love. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, hey, I'm not saying that like this makes you a bad person. I'm just saying that this isn't for me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I need to release with love, you know, because I don't want to get into a situation where I waste your time, you waste my time, and it ends up being something that's unhealthy, you know, and I walk away. And so now I'm just fucking single forever.
For life.
For life, you know? And that's something that my therapist tells me. She's like, you know, because I used to tell her, I'm like, you know, it's fucking lonely at the top.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And and she's like, you know, I was like joking, but she's like, it's actually true.
Yeah.
Like the more you work on yourself, the more you care about yourself, and the more
Right.
you love yourself, she's like, the pickier you were gonna be about who you allow into that space.
Yeah.
Because this is a safe space that you've created for you.
Right.
And somebody really, really special is going to have to be, like, somebody's going to have to be very special in order to infiltrate that space.
Right.
You know? So, you know, it's kind of funny.
That's
You know,
true.
it's
Yeah,
funny, but I'm like, you know, I would much rather be fucking single than fucking, like, living in a fucking miserable, toxic relationship that I'm unhappy and it's
Right.
loveless. You know what I
Right.
mean? And
Just forcing it.
yeah. So, you know, I'm happy with where I'm at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm happy with like, I mentioned I'm gonna be graduating school.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome.
So like I did go back to school,
Yeah,
and I am
yeah.
fucking women in STEM, baby.
Yeah.
Woo.
Woo.
Yeah, dude. I'm a biology major.
Holy shit, really?
Yes.
Damn.
Yes, it's fucking hard, dude.
Hell yeah.
I'm in fucking biochemistry
I
right
failed that
now.
shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
So like
What are you gonna do with that?
So conservation, so work with wildlife. So I graduate in May from SDSU with my bachelor's. And I'm going to an internship in Costa Rica, working on a wildlife rescue, doing like orphan rehabilitation. So I will be working with like orphan sloths, orphaned ocelots, so like wild cats.
Oh no shit.
Yeah. So like sometimes birds. But like basically just like rehabilitating and helping them like rewild, like go reintroduce back into the wild.
Nice.
So that's what I'm gonna be doing. And I'm gonna be there for like a few months in July to September.
Oh no shit.
Yeah.
Like an internship?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna hopefully it's like honestly like my biggest hope is that they offer me some sort of fucking position there because I don't want to come back to America, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. It's not looking good for us, you know?
Yeah.
And
it's
and
funny
to
over here now.
Yeah. Like and that's another thing that recovery's really given me is like this ability to like I don't know. I mean, if anybody follows me on socials, like I mean, I'm extremely political.
Okay.
I'm extremely political. I'm extremely firm, like I have a very, very strong and solid belief system. You know what I mean? Like I have like sets of values, morals that I believe deeply in and that I stand up for and I speak up for. And to me, when I was in my disease, like everything was just kind of like, you know what I mean? Like it didn't even occur to me that there was something important enough to believe in outside of getting loaded tomorrow.
Sure.
You know, outside of getting loaded right now, like, you know what I mean? But today, like, all of these things, like, make me great, you know what I mean? That, like, formulate this person of who I am. And it's just, like, so many things that I'm, like, recovery has given me this life. It's introduced me to me, you know?
Awesome.
Yeah, and I'm, like... the ability to care, like not just care for like people outside of me, but like for humanity, like as a whole, like to me, like that's just so incredible. Like what a gift, you know, like I owe everything to Narcotics Anonymous. Like I could never repay Narcotics Anonymous enough for what it's given me, you know. Like I sponsor women and to watch them grow is just such a gift, you know, to watch them like figure things out, you know, like bump their own heads and be there to like pick them back up, you know. It's such a gift, you know. And I mean, I wouldn't trade it for anything. Like this program is just absolutely amazing and it changes fucking people's lives, you know. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I think that's pretty much.
That's
that's the story.
I really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, of course.
And repping my merch too.
Yeah.
I remember like I was like on Instagram
yes,
and I was like,
I was in my gym in my gym videos.
Yeah. I was like, damn, that girl's getting after it. And then I was like, oh fuck, that's Keela.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, it's the
savage.
Yeah.
Fuck yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
I really appreciate you again.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Well, goodbye, everybody.
Bye.